network of two men today. You're in for Keyshawn and Jay Will because I'm Max. I'm already here, man. So you do it. You got to wear two hats
Harry and
today.
Max. It has a nice little ring to it.
I got my brother named Harry. One of my brothers named Harry.
Look at that, man.
All right, brother. Look, first of all, I want everyone to know what a hero I am, Harry. I have a detached retina.
Yeah, that's not good.
And I came to work anyway. I want full credit. There's a ghost town around here. It's summer.
You're going to get it from me.
Yes.
You're gonna get
full
it from
credit from Harry. A true worker, a champion. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max is presented by Progressive Insurance. So, what do you think of the draft? Before we even get into it seemed to me that what was reported versus what wound up happening, that was like a genuine surprise draft.
It was, and then you seen the reactions from Jabari Smith because he thought he was going to go number one. So you seen and his mom just, hey, trust God,
And you're going to have that
good.
forever. You're the number one overall pick forever. Forever. But maybe Vegas knows something, it's the wisdom of crowds because they had Banchero as the number one overall. And a lot, not just like one or two guys, a lot of guys are like, I don't know why Vegas thinks that because what we're hearing is Jabari Smith. But Vegas had it right initially.
Yeah. But Banchero is the most pro-ready right now. You look at his body type, the way he dribbles the basketball, getting to his shot, 6'10" guy that you can put in the pick and roll, and he's not going to be the guy that's setting the pick. That says something. That says something a lot about his skill set, his outside shooting. Now, he does need to work on his defense and get better defensively because if not, he's going to get exploited in this league.
It is time for the Progressive NBA snapshot. I'll tell you what. You say that Banchero is the most pro-ready. As a guy who can make stuff happen with higher-end stuff, I get it. The thing about Jabari Smith, and probably they were right, but he, to me, has the highest floor. He's 6'10". He can shoot the three. He can shoot the lights out, pure shot, and defend. But I guess teams look at that and go, okay, so we know the floor is a high-level 3-and-D guy. Mm-hmm. With the number one pick, we want more. We want to dream a little bigger. But Banchero, if you're going to go that way, Banchero over Holmgren, I guess, is Banchero, do you think, more of a sure thing? We're looking at the Rookie of the Year odds, Caesars Sportsbook. They had Banchero almost twice as likely to go first as Jabari Smith.
Mm-hmm.
They were right, and everyone, what everyone was hearing was wrong, and Vegas was right. But do you think if you're going to go for upside, you take Banchero over Chet Holmgren, or do you think that's kind of a mix of both? We know he can only be like he's going to work out at least at a certain level. Plus, we got the upside.
Well, if I'm looking at it, I'm looking at my roster first of all. What fits best with our roster? You look at the Orlando Magic roster, they have those long guys like Chet Holmgren. Do they have a guy exactly like him? No. You got to remember, they have a Jonathan Isaac that's going to be coming back who's missed the last 2 years. They have a Mo Bamba. I don't know what they're going to do with him, though. They have a Wagner. So do you really want a Chet Holmgren when you have guys similar, I won't say body types, but size-wise? But Banchero brings something different.
You need a spark to light that fire that they got all the kindling wood there.
They have the guys there.
Yeah. All right, so if he were, a lot has been made of this, but when you look at the Magic number one overall pick, the Orlando Magic, throughout their history, in 92 they drafted Shaq. And here's the thing about Shaq. This is slight hyperbole, but kind of from year one, he was the second best player in the world. Like, as soon as he turned pro, okay, Olajuwon was better than him, I get it. Jordan was better. I don't know if I remember his first All-Star game. Mm-hmm. The Western Conference was like, we are not going to let him win All-Star MVP. So they quintuple teamed him on every play. It was five. MJ wound up getting MVP because they weren't going to let Shaq get it, but it took 5 of them to stop him.
Well, he was a different animal. And that's back when Shaq, before a lot of these young kids even seen basketball in the 90s, when Shaq was breaking down backboards and taking down goals.
Shaq could take you coast to coast.
Oh, yes.
When Shaq looks at Antetokounmpo, he's like, man, I could have played like, if they would have let me, I could have played like that. He's right.
But he got did in by Hakeem Olajuwon in that finals.
Yeah. Well, Hakeem by that point was on some other.
The footwork, the little shimmy.
Yeah.
Hakeem was on another level.
They got swept. I mean, Hakeem was, listen, when Jordan retired, it was parallel universe time, as my late great brother Sam used to say. All right, if there's no Jordan, who's the best player in Hakeem?
Yeah.
Hakeem was the best non-Jordan.
Hands down, too.
So, but Shaq was incredible, one of the 10 greatest players who ever lived. Chris Webber in 93. Now, they didn't keep him, They traded him to Golden State for Penny plus multiple first-round picks. And Penny and Shaq was, that got him to the finals. So people don't know now. Penny, early in his career, I'm not saying he was a top 5 player in the league. I'm saying he's one of the top 5 guys you would want on your team.
He was a baller, man.
He was a superstar.
You remember Lil Penny? Man, what you Lil Penny on this playing the piano? I had Penny Hardaway shoes as a
Tyra
kid.
Banks, fool.
I had Penny shoes, man.
He had commercials and everything because you could see what was coming.
Yeah.
He was a different kind of player, Penny. Now, kids nowadays don't remember him because he doesn't have the career. He didn't have the career because of injury that he may have otherwise had.
But that was a great trade for the Orlando Magic. Even though Chris Webber panned out to be a Hall of Famer and the
Shaq,
things that he was only
Jr.
at Golden State for 1 year and then he left.
That's right. But and also you bring up like the Magic now. They have all this stuff. Now they need some. Well, they had Shaq already in Orlando, and Chris Webber was like a power forward type Shaq. He could do a lot of things, but put up similar numbers at least. All right, Dwight Howard was the next number 1 overall pick the Magic had, and he was not just a 3-time defensive player of the year. He was all NBA for a long time. He was top 5 player in the NBA for years and years and years. Just because you had Dwight and shooters, you got to a finals, right? And that's the thing. All 3 of these number 1 picks, Webber turning into Penny, got to an NBA finals.
That's right.
What happens if Paolo Banchero turns into that kind of star? What do you think? When you look at what the Magic are doing,
yep.
What do you think the plan should be?
I'll say I have 3 things, Max. The first thing is that young core that they do have. You look at the Jalen Suggs, you look at the Cole Anthony, Banchero, Isaac, all those guys. They have to understand that it's go time now. Number 2, Jamal Mosley, their head coach. He's going into his 2nd year. He has to figure out how to push those buttons and get those guys and everything to work in unison so they could thrive. The third thing, front office, general manager John Hammond, he has to take a page out of the Cleveland Cavaliers in a Phoenix Suns book because those 2 teams have drafted well of late. But what did they do, Max? They sprinkled in some veterans, some guys that can play. You look at a guy like Chris Paul when it comes to the Phoenix Suns. He made a difference on that team. But when you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, you have a Jared Allen, a Karis LeVert they added this past year, a marketing. They have those guys that help spark their young core as well. So when I look at John Hammond, he has to bring in solid veterans to get these young guys going because I think people they underestimate the need for vets, especially vets that can play the game at a high level.
Bingo. See, to me, that's what it is, Harry. It's not just let's get a lot of young players, and then we'll also have a veteran guy. But can the vet ball?
That's right.
Because he's not going to have the same
they got to respect him too.
Ball, right?
Exactly. They got to respect him because if the young core don't respect you, which nowadays it's a little tougher to get the respect from the young guys than it was back in the days.
Makes so
then
much
it makes
so
no
fast
difference.
And all that. You know who I think of? C.J. McCollum. You look at the Pelicans. It's not just that they're. I understand they're not all draft picks. They made deals, but there's the same kind of generation of players coming up together, drafted around the same time, even if it's not always by New Orleans. Okay, what do we need here? We have Zion. We don't think he's getting the most out of his potential. You go get a C.J. McCollum, and I remember a lot of pundits, why are they getting C? It doesn't make a lot of sense. It made perfect sense to me because he is the vet that you're talking about. Yep. Not only the president of the Players Association, right? So he knows what he's doing, but he can ball.
That's another team, though. You look at the draft pick they got last night and Dyson Daniels. Now you're going to get Zion back. You have C.J. McCullough. You had a Valanciunas that you brought over. You have a Brandon Ingram. Exactly. You have that. You have that young rapport and that young core with a sprinkle of those vets. And we've seen what they did this year. Willie Green, I'm looking for big things from the New Orleans Pelicans in the Western Conference next year.
Small market teams, it seems to me the formula is if you eventually draft a star or a superstar, but it's not working out and they're going to bounce anyway, then it pays to be bad that year, get a high draft pick, and then trade the superstar for a gang of players. That's what the Pelicans did. Yes. Not only did they have Zion coming in and AD going out, but for AD, they took everything the Lakers had.
Yep.
You guys can keep Kuzma. We're going to take Ingram. We're going right? That's the Progressive NBA Snapshot brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What? By the way, how do you like Ivy going to Detroit?
Ooh, and he wanted to go there.
He wanted to go to Detroit, and that's got to be.
Mom played there. Grandfather played for the Lions. He wanted to be in Detroit. Perfect situation for him.
That's got to be why Sacramento passed on him, right?
No.
And now he's going. Is he a point guard or not? He doesn't have to be now.
But I tell you, Sacramento passed on him because they drafted Davion Mitchell the year before.
Yeah.
And then they have.
Right.
It's self-explanatory.
No, Sacramento passed on him because the Kings have no idea how to do the NBA draft. They're like the Jets. They're like the New York Jets of the NBA draft. They posted this on ESPN on the broadcast last night. The Knicks took Marvin Bagley in 2018, second overall.
Oh, yes.
Luka went third. They took
Kings, you mean? Yeah.
The Kings. Sorry, they took Robinson fifth overall in 2012. Damian Lillard went sixth.
Yeah.
They took Jimmer Fredette 10th overall in 2011. Klay Thompson went with the next pick.
So
Jaden Ivey is going to be a superstar just based on that alone.
Well, I know, but you have De'Aaron Fox and you have Davion Mitchell. I think they needed a guy like Keegan Murray. They needed a guy like Keegan Murray.
Don't overthink this. They did it because they're the Kings. They have no idea what they're doing.
GM
Terrible.
of the Portland Trail Blazers calls Bobby Knight. Says, Bobby, who should I draft in this upcoming draft? Bobby Knight said Michael Jordan. They said, yeah, but we already got Clyde Drexler. We need a center. Bobby Knight said, draft Jordan, play him at center. Just take the best player. Get them when you got a superstar. Him and Cade Cunningham in Detroit. What do your home and auto have in common? They're both yours, and Progressive protects them both. Bundle today at Progressive.com. So, look, we talk about the upside of Paolo Banchero. Then there's the upside of a football prospect we've been talking about since he was in the 7th grade. And the name of royalty in the NFL. That's next. Harry Douglas in for Key and Jay.